Computer.
Recording in progress. Click that. Oh yeah.
So for those of you following on our YouTube channel, we do this live every Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Australian Central District Time. That's Adelaide and Northern Territory time. If you
Yep.
want to come and watch us live, come and join our Facebook page and also our YouTube. We stream directly to the Facebook group page now. So yeah, I mean we've got a bit of a following now, and I think a lot of people are finding lots of value to the content we're offering in the real estate space, whether it be about mindset or real estate, or any coaching purposes. Reach out to us. Anyone on screen, there's Chris, Marco, Tony, and myself.
Good morning, everyone.
Very vibrant today and
Is it
quiet today.
8:30 a.m. in WA right now? I think they're an hour and a half behind us.
Something
Yep.
like that. Now, while Chris is trying to figure out how to stream, and hopefully, are you guys watching where he's streaming? To just double check.
I've got it up on my phone as well, mate.
There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
I have a separate YouTube channel for my vlogs now as well.
Oh yeah.
I do my vlogs there. Nothing to do with real estate, just well, I can be
Just
about real estate, but
just food.
yeah, food, everything. Not just food, but just everything. Because I got this camera, which is really, really good. There you go around, make vlogs.
Tony's
All
just
Sweet.
right, hit and go live from Zoom. And then once the event starts. All right, go live now. We're hitting go live across everything, lads.
Live across the world. There we go.
That's great. It just timed out on Zoom.
Oh, that's
What?
Just check though, it's saying it's live in the event. So just jump into the event.
interesting. It says go live in the event for me. Watch video. Hello. Oh, that's yeah,
Us?
we're live.
Yeah.
Yep, we're all good there.
I literally see the live.
We're on, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
Oh,
Boom.
Hang
excellent.
on.
Wild. There you go. Even though Zoom timed out then in the live feed, it's fed through to the Facebook page, and that is all that matters. We'll just give it a minute or two, lads, to let the audience build up here a little bit, because we're actually ahead of time today, which is
We're actually
fantastic.
actually on time.
Yeah.
Right on time.
Boom.
So we're
Let me
definitely
just give it
live,
a
yeah?
time.
We're definitely live.
Yep, I'm seeing it live.
As long as, yep, I can see it, yep. All good.
We got 3 viewers. Guys, if you got any comments, say g'day in the chat. Say you can hear us, see us, hopefully understand us with what we're about to cover off with you today. Let us know that you're in the live feed as we wait for the audience to build up here a little bit.
All right. How's our week been, boys?
Um, on a personal level, I've had fantastic wins. On a professional level, I've had fallovers, contracts, double whammies.
Oh,
Disastrous from a client professional perspective.
oh,
Yes.
I wanted to cry to this week. I wanted to cry.
Yeah, you've been kicking ass, Marco.
Yeah, well, and then I had my ass kicked as well. But
Oh, what?
Things
that's
happen,
okay.
man.
We'll
Such as
get back
life.
up. We'll get back up again. That's the real estate roller coaster.
Yeah. Now get no.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're getting a few thumbs ups here, which is great, guys. Just drop a comment if you can, folks, that you're on the live stream and we'll get underway. Yep, Jason, he's in, the man. Lincoln, he's had a few sold results this week, the big rig,
Nice.
I haven't
which is
spoken to him in a
awesome.
long time. Mr. Jason, how are you?
He is busy. He's hustling. He's listing and selling, running around after many kids, like my household will soon be too.
Yeah,
It's a good life.
It's all happening. It's
tell
all
you.
happening.
Yeah, like he's got like 16 kids, doesn't
Not quite. We're
16.
we're both traveling along a similar route, I think.
he?
Uh, all
Popular.
right, let's do it, shall we, lads? Let's get underway.
Do
All
it.
right.
10 o'clock.
So, folks, happy Friday. Welcome to the Agents Weekly Blueprint by the Alpha State of Mind. I'm Chris. There's Marco, Bori, Tony. If this is your first time, we host these sessions each and every Friday as open-minded, entrepreneurial, collaborative agents. This is a free event to help every industry agent to really thrive, not just survive within our industry and your own entrepreneurial aspirations. And today, folks, fellas, can you believe it? We're almost halfway through 2025. And statistics say that if you work a 5-day week, you've got around about 139 working days left of 2025. Like most of us, you're not a traditional employee. You work for yourself. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. If you're working and hustling a 6-day a week, you've got around 167 days left in 2025. Life's short, time goes quickly, and most certainly it's the most important commodity. But fellas, there's one thing I've always said, and to our viewers, is there's two things that never lie to you in life. One is your group certificate. In July, we all do that tax return we lodge, and it's a real accomplishment, a real achievement, or it can be actually sometimes a sad point for agents looking back on the last 12 months and going, I missed out on a lot of opportunity, and I'm most certainly not at my best, and my group certificate doesn't reflect where I want to be. So, fellow industry agents, I'm going to encourage, and the second thing, I should add, that doesn't lie is when you jump on the weight scales. And I've been enjoying a few more cakes than I should be in 2025, right? But those two things will never lie to you. But let's talk about the group certificate. Tax time's here. This is the best time to really look yourself in the mirror and look at your numbers and go, am I where I want to be financially? And if you are, it's a testament. Congratulations to you. That's bloody awesome. And it's not all about money. You might be earning less, but you might have a fabulous lifestyle, and that's just as important, absolutely. But utilize this time as a little bit of self-reflection when you get your group certificate to go, is this group certificate reflective of my self-value, my own value proposition? Because life's short, and what you don't want to see happen, and I've seen it in my own former businesses, is that many agents just list, survive, die. And there's no break between listing and surviving and thriving to actually retiring and enjoying life, right? So just wherever you're at in life, whatever model, network, flag you fly, whatever business you're in, just use July as a great opportunity to reflect on your own self-value proposition, because this is a long-term game. We're not here for, the short wins as a job in the next 12 months. You're building a business, and this is 10 years, decades in the making. Okay, I'm going to share with everybody a little bit of a link, and if you'd like to compare your model versus our model, I'm going to chuck it in the group chat as Bori gets in today's session. Feel free to jump onto that link. You can plug your numbers in year to date. If you've got your pay slip from last fortnightly pay cycle, grab those year to date numbers, chuck it in this calculator, and it will give you a real live reflection, comparison of your model versus ours and what that difference could potentially be at. And I'm just keeping this real because it's all about setting yourself and you and your family up for the future and the legacy that we leave behind. All right, without further ado, today he's back. He's come back from 3 weeks in Vietnam, and the focus is going to be on resetting, refocusing, and dominating moving forward, and how I'm going to be attacking the financial year 2025 that is on the horizon. Bori's son, over to you, my fellow brother. Let's get into today.
Thank you very much, Chris. And it's really good that you were speaking about reflecting and all those bits and pieces, because when I was overseas, I did a lot of reflection into my business, and that's the reason why I want to lead this session today, because prior to me going to Vietnam, it was really techie. We were getting really, really techie in the real estate space. And whilst that is good, we have to understand that that's just a supplement to the business. I think the fundamentals and foundations of real estate will always remain the same, and that will always be the most important thing to do in real estate for your business. So when I was reflecting overseas, I'm going to talk a little bit about mindset as well. But I was reflecting not on my business itself and my goals. What do I want out of real estate? What is it doing for me? Because real estate is just a vehicle that helps us with our goals and what we want to do. The GCI itself is a number, and it can be any number while you work towards it. But what is that GCI number helping you achieve, and on the flip side, right? So I'm going to be very open and transparent. Like my financial year goal for this coming up financial year, not the one that's just passed, it's going to be 250K GCI. And I think that's a very honest GCI focus on that. I'm not going for 500,000. I'm not going for 1 million. It's something that's unobtainable. And I've learned this a lot from Marco as well when I was working with him. We have to set realistic goals that we can actually achieve and creep forward upwards from there. Because if you're going to set goals that you physically can't do, you will feel burnt out and you will feel depressed and you will feel inadequate because you're not setting realistic goals. And it's all well and good to come out and go, yeah, I'm going to be $1 million writer. We'd all love to be. But do you have the foundations to become a
Not
$1 million
me.
writer?
Not me. I think
Okay,
being a
no,
million
not
dollar rider is
everyone, but
overrated, to be honest
yeah,
with you. And
yeah,
if that's someone's aspirations, good on them. But I think the balance is just as important as the
yeah,
number itself, right?
absolutely.
I think 250 is, in saying that,
That's
like
a good lifestyle.
but it's also it's a hard task for most real estate agents out there. Like, I mean, you see, yeah, agents selling, 30, 40, 50 homes, but that takes time to get up there. You'll have also like flame burners of agents where they'll do that on 1 year or 2 year, and they burn out and they disappear from the industry. Like 250 is it's a fantastic goal to be achieving.
Yeah. That's a good point that you raised there, Marco, because I think with certain models, I'm not going to name any, but with certain models, I think when you do those numbers, I think you will feel burnt out because of the splits that they're getting. But I think, and I'm not just going out there and just plugging EXP because I work with them, but I think with models like EXP, where you can retain 75% to 100% of your commissions, it becomes very achievable when you break down the numbers. And I've got the numbers here, which again you've coached me on this. So I've got my numbers here as well. It's not as crazy as what you've got in terms of when you lay it out, but it's pretty straightforward. And when you go through it, you'll understand how easy it is to actually achieve once you start laying things out. So I'm gonna share my screen quickly, and I know you guys always tease me for my, my what do you
But I
call
love
it?
them. I love
My
them. I love a good.
slides.
I love a good slide presentation.
Um,
But in all seriousness, I think there's an important point to take
oops,
out of that. You can either be an agent who's focused
what was
on
that?
turnover, or you can be an agent who's focused on take home. There's two differentiating agents in our industry: volume, turnover, take home, balance, lifestyle. And I think you got to find your niche and what your tribe, your model, where it best suits you individually.
Okay, I was a little bit lost there for a second.
That's right,
That's
mate.
fine,
Can
mate.
you
I gotcha.
see that
Yeah, mate.
screen? Yep, cool. So
You're on.
again, I'm going. Just a bit of a backstory, guys. I just went to Vietnam for 3 weeks, for a 3 week holiday, and whilst I was there, you do get that guilty feeling where you're like, my business is running, but I'm not here to run my business. Fortunately for me, I had the guys here, Chris, Marco, and Tony, who were looking after things for me and following up on leads for me so that I didn't have to stress so much. And I can actually, for me, it's really hard to relax and unwind and then go, now I'm on holiday. So the first week, even 2 weeks, I was like still in work mode. That's just who I am. So I didn't really enjoy the holiday, if I'm completely honest. Uh, yeah, I mean, I enjoy the food and all that stuff, but when you're still trying to like do things, it's a little bit hard. But now when I focused on my business again, I thought, you know what, let's cut it all back. Let's restart, because sometimes we just need to restart, and then it's easy to feel lost, confused, and even depressed in real estate if you don't sort of have a reset and focus and work on your goals. So again, we're going back to the basics of real estate fundamentals. Feel free to jump in at any time if you have any value to add in, guys.
Yeah.
So
Yep, I'm just monitoring the chat, mate, as well.
yeah, yeah,
So if
cool.
anyone's got any questions, guys, drop it in the chat. We are live. We'll be responding live to your questions.
Yeah. So I call this the winning formula of what matters most. And firstly, it's always environment, the efficiency, declutter, and organize. Morning rituals is very, very important as well. Getting your mantra right, your mindset right. Always having a plan of attack. And again, the business structure, not understanding your numbers, all right? These are the four things that I believe that are personally really important in business or any business, not just real estate. All right.
Yeah, agree. And knowing what you're going to do before the day actually hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
people work it out on the day. Don't work it out on the day. Work it out the night before.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to talk about environment, and I know this is a little bit cliche or but it's so important to have a clean and organized environment. So the first thing when I came back from Vietnam, I started decluttering everything. I pulled everything out, and because I work from home as well, so I have my own home office. I started from my office because that's going to be, where my vehicle is to run my business. Clean out the whole entire office, clean out my whole entire house as well. And when you start declutter, you'll realize that when things are out of sight, it's out of mind. So if you have a completely chocked work desk, right? You're not going to be able to focus properly, and focus is so important in this business. And if you don't have your ideas set out, maybe a to-do list, how are you going to remember what you're going to do? So that's why it's so important to have something like Trello, for example. So if you guys want to go back and watch the video that Marco does on Trello and having organization, it's so important. And as a real estate agent, I've always found that the people who were organized and kept their homes in a not more organized space, I've always found that they were more well off than the people who were always hoarders and cluttered and lived in a cluttered environment. And I'm not like,
What
you
do you
know,
mean? I feel like you're yelling at me right now.
well, well, maybe you need to clean your house too. But I'm just
Put it on
saying,
the shed.
I think it's very important because not only if you have clutter around you, of course you're gonna feel cluttered in your mind as well. And the last thing you want to do is clutter your mind because mindset is so important. So, um,
Always say to my partner, Bori, I always say to my partner, if I'm having a bad mental health week or something like that, you can see it in the house that I'm living in.
yeah, absolutely.
It's true though. It's true.
Yeah,
Your
it's not.
environment's a reflection of your mental state at that time.
Yeah,
It's like the crowd, the people that you're around is a reflection of where you're at in life at that time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you ever feel stuck in real estate or stuck in any business, stuck in life in general, right? A good thing to do is to go and clean your house or clean anything because you set small goals for yourself, right? That you are achieving, and it will get you out of that, mental space where you're kind of stuck at. And the Japanese do it really, really well. I forgot what the word they call it, but basically, if something isn't used for 6 to 12 months, they just get rid of it. They get
Yeah.
rid of clutter, and they
I'm
thank it. They thank it for its use, and then they go, "But we don't need you anymore." So
I'm
pots and
I'm a
pans,
big
or
fan of that one, Ori.
yeah,
That one's for me, like it's every 6 months I'll go through the house, completely ransack it, and go, is this something that I need or I don't need? And then get rid of it. But the other thing is just simple tasks that I do just to get on top of the day. Like for the first one, you get out of bed, just make your bed.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the reason why they teach that in the military is because it's to be organized and structured, and that's how have a better career as well. Just have that organization and small goals, small wins. Small wins equate to a bit of positivity in your day. And we're always, well, especially in real estate, we're always thinking a year to two ahead, or even 3 to 6 months ahead on what's going on, how many commissions are coming in the next 3 to 6 months. Sometimes it's okay to cut it back and just think about the day itself and be present in the moment, so that you can enjoy the day, because that's the last day you'll ever get in your whole entire life, right? It's never going to happen.
Danshari.
So
Danshari is the term, Japanese term for decluttering.
yeah,
Danshari.
that's it. So take every day as it comes, right? And try to improve 1% every day, because that 1% every day will equate to 365% in the whole entire year.
I love
And
that.
Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of people they feel so lonely in this business of real estate, but just understand that we're all here going through the same thing. So don't be afraid to pick up the phone and just vent it out. Go, mate, I'm not doing well. I had a calling off, or you know, um, comms not coming in. I'm not getting the sale that's coming through. You know, I find that every June, July, it's always a little bit quiet because everyone's going through that tax period anyway. So it's a good time to be prospecting and building up that pipeline, so that after that tax time comes through, when people do start making decisions on moving, you'll be the agent that's front of mind as well. Okay, so that's just a little bit on environment. We've got one calendar rule, because now, like, with no support that I have with only me and my missus, I've got my son as well. I have to make sure my timeline fits in with his timeline as well, because I can't be late to pick him up or drop him off for daycare. And I think everyone can understand that as well, like, so have that one calendar rule for your family, sports, life, all into one place, and don't double book yourself, because then you're going to start becoming heaps confused. And again, a visual workflow is very important for organization. Have a whiteboard or Trello for active listings, pipelines, and follow-ups at a glance. And then a weekly reset, 30 minutes every Friday to file, shred, wipe screens, backup data, clean your office, and make your vehicle, your office, whether you're working in an actual office in person, make it clean and make it ready for the next week. Okay?
That's so good, man. A lot of us talk about how we start the day, whether it be the morning routine, morning ritual, whatever. I think it's important is the end of the day landing.
Yeah.
And we spoke about making the bed, right? And I know that doing the task of making the bed in the morning is not the most fulfilling, right? But
Yeah.
how many of us love getting into that fresh, crisply made bread, hopefully not jumping into a bread loaf. That bed, it's like when you go to a hotel, the
Oh, so
sheets are
good when
crisp, you
you're tired.
first jump, that feeling, it's like it's indulging, isn't it? It's satisfying. So I think that's a great point, man. I really like that about what you said at the end of the week, allowing that 30 minutes to shred, rip, dump, get rid of, wrap your week up.
Yeah. Just get rid of that clutter.
I
Right.
think
Yeah,
I think the other
love it.
thing is like going back to what you're saying now, it'd be a beautiful time to just go, if you're not traveling the way that you can just literally next financial year is just upon us, you can literally just pull everything apart
Yeah.
and start again. And that could be sometimes as freeing as anything else, just go, you know what? I'm just tired and cluttered with all the business and all the stuff that I got in my business now is trying to take it back to zero and like let's build it up again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
What's not working?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, when I went to Vietnam, I felt a lot of self-reflection because I'm looking at like you see the good parts of Vietnam's on YouTube and stuff like that, but you don't see the bad stuff that they put that's out there, right? And Vietnam is a developing country, went through a lot of war and all those bits and pieces, but you when you go out there, you'll see a lot of people who wish they had the opportunity that you have because they can't get they're poor. That's it. There's no way to reach the social economic ladder from there. When you're poor, you're poor. Good luck trying to make ends meet over there, you know? So I was like, why are my problems that I feel so big sometimes? Because it's not as big as what I make it out to be. It's all in my mind, you know what I mean? Whether it be like a listing that I've lost or that I'm not reaching my GCI goal or all these bits and pieces, they're all very, very minimal compared to what people are struggling on a day-to-day basis over there. So I was like, I am very blessed to have what I have, and I should be thankful for what I have. So that's part of my mindset shift from prior to going over. I've been over there many many times, but at the same time, I saw a world from a different perspective.
Mm.
So back to the mindset, growth over comfort here. Treat every prospecting call and setback as training reps for a stronger, more skilled you. So a lot of people they get a rejection or a no or they don't want to do business or all those bits and pieces, but digest your conversations and change your scripts and as to why they might have said no. Like, are you offering value or not? So always come from a service first perspective, shift from what can I earn to how can I help? And that goes for the whole business, I think, because a lot of people they're so commission breath, they're
Yeah.
always, how can I close this client? How can I get the deal? And I get it all the time from those social media guru guys who call me up all the time trying to, you know, pitch my angle of, hey, isn't your GCI of 250 or 500K important to you? You should be investing into our product because that's how you're going to reach it. But, if they just came at me from an angle of going, man, let me understand your business. Let's see what we can do to help you. I'd be more inclined to sign up with them as opposed to them trying to back me into a corner and, you know, get me to sign up with them. I hate being closed. So imagine all the clients out there that hate being closed as well. Just go out and help people. That's it. I think that's one of the most important lessons of today.
Well, it
Yeah.
helped me at the very start of my business when I first came to EXP straight out of my industry agency. It was like, well, I was desperate for money, but that I knew that I had to trust the system and go, right, helping people need help, help, help. And it worked. And people can smell it when you're desperate for their money.
Oh, absolutely. You can't
That's
fake energy. If you come off as someone who's dodgy, they're gonna know you're dodgy. They're not gonna want to do business with you. I don't want to do business with dodgy people.
I think that's a catchphrase for today. Don't be dodgy.
Don't be
Otherwise,
dodgy.
it's
Don't
Make
be
Australia
dodgy.
great again. Um, relentless consistencies, small boring actions, daily calls, follow-ups, handwritten notes compound into big exciting results. So what you put out there, whether it's letterboxing and all this stuff, they might not feel like it's doing anything, but over time they will. And what it is, it's just consistency. Consistency in what you do will
So
always outweigh.
it's a rhythm. It's a
Yeah,
rhythm as well. Like once you get into that vibration, I mean, everything's friction and vibration. So frequency and vibration, but like it is a rhythm. Once you start doing, say 10 phone calls in a day, you can then in say 2 months' time do say 15 phone calls. It's the
yeah,
same
Yeah.
thing with GCI. We have 1 year is 250, and the next year is going to be say 295.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I remember the first time someone actually kept my pamphlet. And I'd been delivering pamphlets for I reckon 6 months at that point. It was just those little things, you're delivering and you go, what's the point of all this? No one's even people just throw it away. And this person kept it. And in fact, he kept it for like 12 months and called me. And it was like that was when it was really worth it. So it's the tiny small things
absolutely. And I
out
mean,
there everywhere.
look at Chris, for example. Like he's got so much business from Burden, and he relentlessly, religiously puts out these letterbox drop materials that I always see him. He never skips it, and I always see it. And I've had people at an open and Burden, they walked up to him and had to start having a conversation, act like they know him.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy
Mm.
because they're reading his little pamphlets every day. There's so much value to it. So I'm definitely going to do it. I shouldn't be giving that secret out.
We've
So
run a whole
we're,
session on it, brother. We've run a whole session on it. I'm
we're here to
giving all
share.
that
We're here to share.
IP up already.
Yeah. All right, cool. So resilience on repeat. I know is data, not defeat. Track it, adjust it, and
Oh,
step right back in the ring. Future self-focus. Visualize the agent who has already hit whatever goal you have, 250k GCI. Let today's choice mirror that version of you. So be the person you already want to be. Okay? Act like that person. And I got this little quote here, mindset mantra. Control the controllables, activity, attitude, and follow through. Then let the market reward the effort.
That's
I
good.
love that. A no is data, not defeat. A no today just means it's no for today.
No for
They
now.
don't need your help. They don't need a solution for now. But
Yeah.
in 12, 18, 24 months, 36 months time, it might not be a no then.
Yeah.
It's
A no
data
can be,
today. I
yeah,
love that. Let's
yeah,
go.
And I just want to say I'm really excited with the future of EXP as well because prior to coming to EXP, we had our agent box CRM. It's a little bit clunky if I'm honest, but now we're moving on to the new CRM coming up soon. I don't know if
yeah,
I'm allowed to release the information, but I'm going to say it anyway.
It's fine, brother. It's all
Yeah,
good.
cool. So we've got a new CRM that we're working with, and I'm really excited because that's going to help me get back to my goals and get back to my prospecting habits. Because, yeah, I've looked into it and I'm just excited about that.
yeah.
So, morning rituals for success. Kickstart your day with powerful habits. And Marco is really big on this one. Morning rituals, momentum, win the first hour. And I know, Chris, you wake up really, really early. And there is studies to prove that as a man as well, if you wake up with the sunrise, your testosterone levels are a lot higher than it is if you wake up after the sunrise. I don't know what the science is behind that, but I just know that waking up with the sunrise, so just before the sun rises, right, it's very powerful for males. And hydration is very important. If you want to do some light exercises, go to the gym. That's really good as well. I'll be starting next week.
Also, Bor, if you wake up in the morning and get your lovely lady a coffee or a tea, you have a longer life expectancy 'cause she won't kill you.
You
Yeah.
just don't wake up the beast. Let him sleep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's gonna
No,
be
no,
the
no, no. You
opposite
just
then.
you sneak in there snugly with a coffee or a tea and go, here you go. That's it. I'm gonna leave it there. Get the fuck
I don't poke the bear, mate. I don't poke the bear.
I'm the same. I don't poke the bear either. um,
out.
but the first, I think the most important thing that I want to get here, right, is sometimes we wake up, but we're still tired. Have you ever felt like that, like
Yeah.
brain fog? And the reason why you feel the brain fog is because you don't have a morning ritual that you're doing. So if you have a morning ritual with consistency after your morning ritual, whether it be what you do, like the ice bath and all those stuff like that, you will feel awake. And when you feel awake, then you can have the more powerful conversations that you intend to. Because sometimes when you have brain fog, you can't think. You can't think of the words you're trying to say. So it's really important to have a morning ritual. And I think most successful people have a morning ritual, whether it be meditation or going to the gym, reading a book, whatever it is. Just do
Walk on the beach.
walk on the beach, whatever. Um, I got the three MIT's most important tasks. Write them before bed, attack them before inbox, and energy audit. Cut or batch social media. This is very important because even myself, I get stuck on the doom scroll, especially when I'm on the toilet, and I go to the toilet many times. You ever get stuck on the doom scroll when you're scrolling on
Trust me.
7 second videos and you're just like,
We
oh,
used to we used to keep calling, "Where's Bory? Bory, what are
Yeah.
you doing,
Very
mate?"
open about these things. Very open about it.
clearing the, the inside. I eat a lot of food, you know what I mean? So push high focus tasks into your personal peak energy window. So you're going to find that for me, I find around about that 10 to 11 a.m. or 11 to 12 a.m. Sorry, 11 to 12 p.m. That's when I'm, with my peak energy mode. So that's what I like to prospect around that time because that's when I can have the best conversations, and it's usually when the caffeine kicks in and just before lunch. That's my peak energy mode. You just need to know what your peak energy mode is. And non-negotiable prospecting blocks, same time, same length, 5 days a week. You can cut it down to 3 days a week, whatever your goals are. Okay, so plan the day, work the plan, master your daily workflow, maximum productivity. Plan the day, work the plan. Okay, so 19 to 15 minute focus sprints. So that could be like your prospect admins or even your contracts and stuff like that. Just just put it into that sort of 19, 15
It's
minute
the this is
time
it's called
frame.
the if you want to have a look at it, it's called the Pomodori technique. So with studying or anything, if your brain is given an understanding and in a routine understanding that you're only going to work for 90 minute or so an hour blocks,
Yeah.
so the brain knows that there's a finish. So the brain will then go, okay, well, I've got to get all this stuff finished, and then there's a break. So you can have, so what you do
Mm.
is you work in, say, in the mornings, and this is what I do, is that in the mornings I have four blocks, and then that's it. And after that, my afternoon is just whatever random stuff
All
that
the
gets thrown
variables.
real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't know how to do a plan, you can watch Marco's video. But the second thing is you can color code your calendar. Okay, so if you just go on Google Calendar, color code your activities. Like here, we got like green equals productivity, calls and appointments, blue equals client service, and gray equals admin. We have something similar. Whether Marco's using Trello, I still use the little spreadsheet that he's given me from our time at our franchise together. So I still use that.
Is that the Excel spreadsheet
Yeah,
one?
the Excel spreadsheet. I still use that.
That's beauty. That's an absolute beauty. That one.
Yeah.
Nice. It's free. It's an effective one.
Yeah, or just color code your calendar and time block yourself for specific times that you're going to be working. And I understand this is very basic things, right? But like I said, the foundation, the fundamentals of real estate, get it right, and everything else, whether it be tech, social media, all the other things, they can bolt on afterwards. They're not too important until later.
Yeah.
And
Set those
finish with a
alarms.
tomorrow list.
Set
Uh,
those alarms as well. So it's constant reminders. So ding, ding pops up on your phone, and then eventually it just becomes a total routine. But
yeah.
I live by my alarms as well. They're super handy for the calendar.
Yeah. Now, knowing your numbers is very important because knowing your numbers will help you achieve your goals and what you need to do, and it will map out how many activities you need to do. So, again, I'm working on a 250K GCI. That's the goal that I have. And the reason why that is my goal, I'll be very open, is that because at 100K, it pays for my daily living expenses, mortgages, bills, food, childcare and all those bits and pieces. The other 150K, I want to have enough money so I can actually do things as well, and whether it be investing or having, a savings for a rainy day. Or with our business, we don't have sick days and stuff like that. So sick leave or annual leaves, we sort of got to pay for ourselves. So, yeah, I think that's a very, again,
Yeah,
modest and
we still
honest.
didn't see the what's his name, the holiday form, mate.
Yeah, I didn't lodge
I
it.
missed I
But
missed
I
the
don't know how
I
you
missed
Yeah.
the
done.
yeah the holiday request form, mate. What happened there?
Yeah.
Send it
But
into
I
your
think
manager, mate. You have to send it
Dude,
to
what
your manager and get
what
approved for 3 weeks, mate. What happened, brother?
yeah.
but what's good to know there, right, is again, we'll talk about the numbers at the beginning. Turnover, take home. You know your break even point to survive,
Yeah.
right? To not just pedal through every year and go, oh, I just survived. You know that threshold, what you need to be at that threshold, but then you know the buffer of what you need to achieve beyond that to then survive and do things outside of, thrive outside of just surviving of paying the mortgage, daycare,
Yeah.
electricity, gas, insurances, all that stuff. Then you know what the difference is above and beyond that to then really thrive so that you can do those extra things of investing in yourself, your business, in extra wealth pillars, whatever it might
Yeah.
be. I think it's really important. And folks, we'll just talk about tax times here, looking at your group certificate come July. Do you actually know what your break even point is? Like, do you know in 2024, 2025 financial year when you get your group certificate, that number, were you in the black above your break even point or you're in the red? And you got to know that break even point. I mean, I know it religiously. I
Yeah.
live a modest life. I don't have a lot of debt apart from property. But you know what I mean? It's a lot of people live above their means, eat out, fancy takeaway,
Yeah.
fancy car leases, and all that. And they don't actually know what that break even point is for them. So you can get your group certificate and go, oh, that number looks good, but you can still be in the red.
Yeah.
And that I think for me as
Absolutely.
well, Chris, saying that though, then you get stuck in this cycle as agents do when they don't know that, is they just go, well, I just need to pay these bills, so I need to list more. So, but
Correct.
then you eat more and you consume more
Volume.
and you purchase more, and then you have to. So then you're getting to the point where you're constantly up to your neck. So because you don't know your numbers, so because all the things that you're thinking is like, oh well, if I'm in debt, I need to just list more. But then stop spending so much money and like understand some control and some discipline around your money.
Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
spot on.
So I'm very frugal like that. Like, I drive a Chinese car, for example. A lot of people that go, oh, Chinese car. I don't care, man. Like, it gets me from A to B, and it's very nice as well. It's got all the tech of a Mercedes as well. So why do I care? But a lot of people they got like a stigma. Or real estate agents need to be driving a Mercedes or BMW, whatever. It's like, who cares, man? At the end of the day, they don't buy a house from you for the car you drive. They buy a house because they need that house for their own personal living. As long as
Exactly. And I can speak from experience. I've got two BMWs in my driveway and I drive a
I
Toyota.
used to have a BMW too, bro. I trust me. It caused more problems, and then when I got a Toyota, it was even better.
Uh,
But
no,
it's
I just go.
it's
I went straight to Toyota, mate. Toyota, mate. Japanese, beautiful.
Oh,
Mm.
dude, starts every time. It's great. Having a fancy car is all very well and good, but at the end of the day, what Billy said,
By the way,
it
after Saturday,
service.
mine sponsored
but
by Toyota.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Well, I drive a Ford Mondeo, guys, 2013, hasn't missed a beat. I've owned
What
it
a
for about
what a
six
what a
years,
That'd
rocket!
go
and
forever.
What a
it
weapon!
goes forever. But the thing is, it owes me $0, and it gets me to that same appraisal and listing opportunity as the Maserati, the Ferrari, or the Audi does. It'll still get me to that same property. But it is a sad reality. Like, there's agents out there that truly believe that clients in their area, because Chris, I list in 2.5, I list in 3, 4, $5 million. I've got to have that car. And I think, wow, that tells me that one, you don't believe in yourself,
Yeah,
right? When you're presenting to people, you believe in a car badge more than yourself. And two, are you there to connect with the client, or are you there to connect your client with your car more so than you? Like, it's a game of relationships. But it's so true. There's so many industry agents out there that have big, lavish, expensive leases, and the only way to keep that break-even point is, like Marco said, list more, do more volume.
And then yeah, you're just constantly stuck in this cycle of burnout, list more burnout, no lifestyle, and then by the time that you're 45, you look like you're 60.
it's
Well,
a
that's
fake
why.
facade. It's it.
Well, that's why I would rather not write $1 million and have, a weekend off every 6 weeks, have, a week off every quarter, take home versus turnover. That's the difference at the end of the
lifestyle
day.
better.
I used to speak to James Stacey a lot, and he used to mentor me in this specific thing. He goes, why don't you wake up early and do all your work during work hours so that after work hours you can spend time with your family? Because I don't want to be working after work hours. I want to spend time with my family. Why the hell would you want to be working after work hours when your family is home? That's
Mm.
stupid. And
Yeah.
I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, you're because I used to like work all the way to like 11, 12 at night time, like working on the business at that time, whilst working in the business during the day. And he's like, you got to balance it because at the end of the day, you're never going to get that time back with your kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yep,
And it's
spot
so
on.
important. So yeah, and that's the reason why I led me back to this 250K GCI because it does give me enough to get out of the survival mode. And when you look at the triangle of life, if you get out the level of survival mode, you're going into a more of a earning mode. Your mindset expands into bigger things, and you can start having better options. And I don't think I'll ever be $1 million rider, if I'm completely honest. But I don't want to be someone who's struggling all the time either. And I just want to be
But,
someone that,
but at the same time, boy, you're talking 250K. I mean, there's not a lot of people in the population that are earning that much money, mate. Like, I
True.
mean, there's a lot of people out there that, go into mines or, working, top end jobs that are pulling in 250, maybe 350, 400 at the most. But we're talking, even our Prime Minister is earning what, 550 grand a year.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And so, like,
I just think like with inflation and everything like that, you just it to me it's a modest number. It's an honest number. It's an honest number in real estate. And I think most real estate agents should be striving for this kind of number to, at the very least, to get out of that survival mode. You know what I mean?
There's this big
Um,
talk. Sorry, there's this big talk where it's like this average wage that Aussies are getting, which is around 90 to $100,000. And if you look in the world, you really don't see it. Most people are making 70 to 80,
yeah,
and
that's
yeah,
correct.
so 250 is the dream. And as you've got on the screen here, it's 25 houses or 32 listings. Like it can be around.
Let me do the breakdown numbers to see how achievable this is, all right? And you correct me if I'm wrong. I've got some basic numbers here, right? So an average of my commissions average 10K, okay? You guys might get more or less, whatever. You figure it out yourself. Anyways, 80% of those listings convert to a sale. 30% of the appraisals convert to a signed listing. 10% of qualified prospecting conversation calls become an appraisal. So when I broke it down more, I go to, okay, so 250K at 10K per sale is 25 sales, okay, that we need. 25 settled. All right. Now,
Mhm.
listings signed, if I can only get 80% of those listings sold, that means I need 32 listings, not 25 listings, guys, because not all listings will sell. Let's be real, okay? We don't sell 100% of our listings. Some of them get withdrawn, some of them are overpriced, whatever the case may be. Some of them decide not to sell. So 32 listings, and if 80% of those listings sell, that means I will reach my goal. Now, to get those 32 listings, I need to conduct 105 appraisals, okay? At 32 of those appraisals, sorry, 30% of those appraisals, if they convert, that's 32 listings, right? Now, this is for annual. This is annually, all right? So I need to conduct 1,050 conversations for the whole entire year. Now, when you break that down even more, that turns into 4 conversations per day. That is a very achievable number, and I think have just having 4 conversations. When I was working with Marco at our franchise, mate, we were doing at least 15 conversations per day as a sales associate.
at least, if not more.
At least. I
20
remember
to
I was
30,
doing
20 to 30 was
100,
the number.
200 calls, like full telemarketer.
You
You know what
remember
I
that time? Do you remember the time we listed like, I think it was like 34 listings in 1 month?
mean? Yeah, massive, massive. So I want to go back down to the breakdown of it because if weekly, that's 20 conversations will equal 2 appraisals, which will equate to 1 listing every 1.5 weeks. So what I'm saying is I've broken down my numbers and I've shown that to me, all right, if you correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have been in the industry longer than I have, but I think that's a very achievable number to get.
Yeah,
It is.
that's real.
You
That's
should expect
real.
it yourself.
And that's just from phone calls. That's not even with my social media marketing. I'm going to do email marketing as well as letterbox drops. We haven't even talked about that. We're just talking about phone calls itself.
And
So
the other thing is
Conversations.
if you wanted to condense it down even to 2 days, you knock out those phone calls in 2 days, and then literally because your days will get busier once you start selling more. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays is buyers, vendors, so on and so forth. But you're still having conversation, but your predominant prospecting phone calls that you put into your prospecting callbacks, you could probably do that. I mean, those numbers you can knock them out in 2 days.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So my point on this today's session is that it's so easy to feel stuck, alone, depressed, confused, especially when I was working in a traditional franchise model. I always felt like that because I had no one to really reach out to besides you, Marco. Sometimes there's so much conflict in the office and competitive natures will make you feel like that as well. But just do your numbers, break it down, break your task down into a daily task, and knowing how much you need to achieve in the actual day itself, and you will be able to have these small achievements which will make you not feel stuck. Because if you've done your task for today, that's it. You've completed what you can do physically do. So, have Set your goals and work backwards from there. And that's how I even sell property. I always say, let's talk about your end goals, then we can work backwards from there. Because if we don't know what your goal is, then what's the point of talking about the sale?
The other thing is there, Bori, if like you got to know your weaknesses. So, for
Yeah,
example, if you are weak with accountability, get yourself a accountability coach. If you're weak with motivation, get yourself a mentor.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Everyone needs a mentor. You can't do this by yourself. Even when you think you know everything, there's a moment where you go, "Oh, actually, I don't." And then you need that other person to come in with that different perspective to show you a different way of thinking.
You smack around the chops a little bit, Tony.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back
yeah,
on those. And then pipeline and tracking essentials. This is what I'm really big on. Um, So you got to categorize your hot sellers into a certain section, your warm prospects into a certain section, and then your cold leads into a certain section. And you really understand the difference. And don't count your chickens before your eggs hatch. So if you got contracts there, don't say that's money coming in until it's fully unconditional, fully sold. Nothing's gonna happen until it's crossed the line. That's when we count that as a sale.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it's not even there. You get
yeah.
what I mean?
Fall over. Buyer could pull out. Contract fall over.
Things
Finance.
happen.
Anything.
Don't spend tomorrow's money when it's not earned yet. And don't
Don't
count
spend it till it's in your bank
yeah,
account.
and don't count yesterday's money as it is today's money. That's yesterday's money. It's done and dusted. That's finished.
Need
Move
new
on.
money.
So because it's easier to make, 50 grand in 1 month and then go, oh, I can relax and I'll take my foot off the pedal. We still got to keep going because
Yeah.
if you have 3 bad months, that 50 grand is gone.
That's a really good point. Um, and I learned this in my first 6 months. I had a really great first 6 months. And then I'm like, I can take it easy. Look at all this money I've got. Like I just like can chill out. And you know what? What happened was I lost momentum. I lost momentum. There were things that I like those daily tasks I should have been doing, but I was like, I was burnt out and I justified it to myself. But then it was like, oh, so don't do that. If you're making good money, follow that momentum and then try and sort of like make that fit your lifestyle. Because if you stop the momentum, people forget about you. They don't know, they don't remember you. Someone else will just come in.
Yeah,
Can I
absolutely.
just can I just add on the point about having a mentor or someone to lean on, right? And it just prompted me. I heard Glenn Sanford, our CEO and founder, talking at the EXP conference in UK the other day, and he said something really interesting, right? Because not everyone can afford a coach, not everyone can afford a psychologist, a therapist, not everybody can afford an accountability person or feels comfortable going to somebody because it's pretty and all of us on this screen, we've all held each other accountable and we've had some really tough, critical conversations, right? And I'm not great with emotion. I like to work through and persevere and find my own way through stuff, right? But sometimes you do have to be vulnerable. It's a wonderful trait. My wife said it's a beautiful quality. You're just not good at it, right? Okay. But he said something that stood out with me. He goes, how many of you guys and girls at this conference put up a hand and use ChatGPT? And obviously, so many people put their hand up and he said, how many of you use ChatGPT as a sounding board or
Me.
a visionary board or a wisdom coach? And obviously the hands dropped, right? And he said, isn't that a great opportunity that now in this era, 2025, with AI, you can use AI to coach, mentor, be everything that you need, but it takes out emotion.
Yeah.
There's no emotion in it. So,
Tony,
when we talk to our wives and our husbands, and emotion comes into the equation with indifference, and that creates a lot of heat. There's none of that. So, folks, like, use ChatGPT. Like, when I get stuck on problems, I'll just punch it into ChatGPT. Or if I'm researching something, or I'm unsure, uncertain, I'm doubting something, my own decision making, right? I run it through ChatGPT. It's amazing what it can
good
do
point.
for you.
Good point you made. There's these things that ask me 10 questions to better know my mindset right now, and it will ask you those 10 questions. You respond to those questions, and then it will spit out the answers for you. Or you
That's
know,
good. That's great. I like that.
Well,
so
the
like
thing is,
in terms of like mindset or psych or anything, like I'm going through this problem right now mentally. Ask me 10 questions about like this mental issue that I'm going through, and then I'll respond to it and how I feel. And then you can not only get a better, firmer understanding, but then it also potentially will spit you something out that you can then take to someone so you have a more efficient conversation with someone.
yeah. And
I
not
really
only
like that.
that,
Yeah.
it obviously the more we use it daily, the more it actually understands you as a person. But secondly, it will actually connect you with the resources of where it's pulling information from. So if you've got something you're struggling with medically, mentally, physically, spiritually, it'll pull in all the resources. Because let's be honest, getting into the doctor's hard enough these days. Getting into a therapist, psychologist, you got to book weeks, maybe a month in advance, right? You might
But you
need help
can't.
right now. You might
I'd
need
say
help right now.
in
And
saying that though,
ChatGPT will
Chris,
bring
you
those
can't book it.
resources.
You can book it on the phone now, so you can have phone conversations. There is apps
Yeah.
right now that you can have anywhere in the world. You can find yourself a psychologist, whatever it might be. It's pretty cost effective, and you can book it in. Doesn't matter what time, 11 o'clock at night. If that's the thing, you can do it then.
Well, if
Spot
you
on.
can just try and reach out to the closest people around you as well, you'd be
Yeah.
surprised.
That
Sometimes
too,
they're happy to help you out. I'm
that
more
too.
than
But
happy
the
to
other
sit
thing
in
is
the
like I've found that not your mates are not your psychologists either. They're here to support you, but it's also your responsibility as an adult to go and fix yourself with professionals. There's only so far your mates can help you.
Yeah.
I think if you want an awakening, just go over to some third world country and see how they live. You'll realize they're so happy with, and they have so little. We've got
Mm.
so much, and we've got all these issues. But I'm not saying they're not valid because our issues are valid as well. But it's like just see it from a different perspective. If you were over there, you don't have a way out. What would you do?
We get caught up sometimes in Australia thinking that, oh, things are so hard. I've got a construction site across the road from my house. Just look and traffic and all of the, even Bori, he kind of teases me a little bit. Like you're always complaining about how busy it is, but like in other, like we've got Australia, right? We can drive out of the city and it's countryside, and then
Hmm.
we can go to a little bakery and patisserie and we can have
Fresh water,
fresh
electricity.
water. Yeah,
Yeah.
like all of that. Go to another. And Bori was saying this when he was in Vietnam. It's like, yeah, we see the nice stuff, but dude, there's some really poor people here, and they'll probably be there for a long time. So being grateful again,
Generations on generations.
being
Yeah.
grateful.
Just back to my last slide. I just unshared the screen because I just have a quote on the last slide, which is success is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Focus on your goals daily and you will achieve them. So that's it. That's really the conclusion of my presentation today. If you guys want to add in anything in terms of what you see value in, but I do know leading up from this presentation that Marco will be doing a very excellent one next week about scripts and dialogues. So next week we will be learning
Yeah.
about the scripts and
Get you
dialogues for how
pumped
to
up.
chat.
Get you refocused, get you rezoned. But that was really good, Bori. Lots of nuggets of gold. For me, I took away in my business plan, which I'm going to be doing next week. So from Wednesday to Friday, I'll be putting together, refocusing my business plan. But for me, the business, what my business all means to me is like you put up a few things there about, what it all means, why we're doing what we're doing, and that's where I'm gonna be refocusing on that and go, being consumer centric. It's all about service. So I'm going to be refocusing. So that was really, really good. But yeah, so obviously, end of financial year is coming up. If you don't have a business plan ready to go for the new financial year, you're already a month behind.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe this today would be something that you go over the weekend. Now, if you don't have one, and go, what is a business plan? What are my numbers? Even a simple kind of setup of like, okay, what do I got to do per month? What do I got to do per week? Just something. Anything's better than nothing, rather than poking around the dark.
Yeah.
Um, and just,
Start with
just
your goals, guys. Start with your goals of what you want. What is the number that's going to help you achieve your goals, and then go backwards from there. And like Chris was saying, you can use ChatGPT. I actually use ChatGPT to figure out my numbers. I actually put in my whole entire life, bills and everything like that. And I said,
Boom.
I need to know the number that I need to make the focus on this financial year because I'm sick and tired of living year to year, and I want to be able to just get out of it, and it started giving me all these information that I needed to put this presentation together. I even used ChatGPT to put this presentation together. So it's very good. So
I use ChatGPT to come up with funny jokes. I think ChatGPT is great.
Come on, give us one. That's a segue into giving us a funny joke. Come on,
Yeah,
Tony, give us
yeah.
one. You got to
Well,
give
I
us
don't
one now,
have any
bro.
at the moment.
Oh, you got to
But,
get
Oh,
onto
but what I
ChatGPT down
do,
there.
I just use it to go. I just give scenarios and give me 10 sketches. But anyway, I don't have them at the moment. I don't remember them. It's just a
oh
funny
yeah,
one.
so next week we're refocusing. Obviously, new financial year's about is just around the corner. So next week, Friday, I want to get back into what's most important in your business, sharpening that sword. A sword's what's the name? A sword fighter or a warrior sharpens their blade. a lumberjack sharpens their axe for the tree or the chainsaw. As agents, we need to make sure our scripts, our dialogues are right on exactly
Mhm.
what we're doing to get better cut through. And as Bori was showing those percentages, if you have a 10 out of 10 listing presentation, if you've got a 10 out of 10
Yeah.
scripts and dialogues, those percentages become even better for you. So you'll have, vendor management, you got better process around that, or your scripts and dialogues. You don't have to make as many phone calls. That's why for me, I can go into a listing presentation. I don't lose a lot.
Yeah. Jason's just asked if you can share the slides, Brother Bori. I'm sure you'll drop it into the group page very shortly. Before we wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, folks, boys, tomorrow, 21st of the month, one of the greatest days of the month each and every month
Yeah,
for
rev
us and
share,
our
baby.
model.
Rev
It's
share.
Rev Share Day, baby, tomorrow. So we are talking about, turnover versus take home and GCI versus NCI, whatever you want to call it. Folks, we're part of this incredible model known as EXP Realty. If you're external to us, Rev Share Day, essentially, it's a day that happens on the 21st of each and every month. And essentially, it's an opportunity where agents like us, Bori, Tony, Marco, we've all experienced it. EXP actually pays us on the 21st of each month from the global revenue that the company and organization and the platform produces on a global level for introducing other agents into our platform. And essentially just for collaborating with them like we have done on this session, like we do every Friday session, and to help them find success in their own businesses. Just a little bit of background on who we are as a company. We're in 27 countries with our big goal to be in 50 countries by 2030. We just launched our 27th in Peru last week. We're at 83,000 agents globally with the big goal to be at 100,000 agents by 2030 in 50 countries. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of the revenue that we have the ability to tap into, not on a local office level or national level, but a global stage. Our company last year did $4.6 billion in revenue. And part of our model is that 50% of all its revenue generated is redistributed out to its members and agents and attractors who become transactional agents in the business, yes, who
Shareholders.
become shareholders in the company, however you want to see it. So if you're foreign to our model and maybe you've introduced a fellow agent into your office, into your model or brand, and you haven't been compensated for it, reach out because a bit like a mortgage broker trail that the mortgage broker gets every month for the life existence of that loan that they signed up 2, 3, 4 years ago, that's what EXP pays us on the 21st of every month. So RevShare Day is one of my most exciting favorite days of the month each and every month because it's afforded me the opportunity to generate a six-figure income in my household without me even listing and selling a property and just for helping other entrepreneurial industry agents find success within our model and vehicle. If you're internal, you're watching this, you have growth aspirations, and you don't understand RevShare, my fellow EXP brothers, sisters, please reach out to me. It's an incredible opportunity that's before us, in front of us. All you have to do is take some action, but it will give you the ability to create a legacy. You're talking about that, Bori. It's not just about living year to year. This is a legacy opportunity that you can pass on to your wife, your husband, your kids, your grandkids, and it's passive. It's each and every month, whether you sell a home this month or not. And we've all had a taste of it, boys. We've all had that little check drop in our accounts on the 21st of the month. It's a wonderful feeling. If you get those bills paid from RevShare and everything you list and earn above that, you get to keep. That's an incredible position to be
I'm
in.
just gonna
So,
say, right, my rev share for this month is gonna pay 80% of my mortgage. That's amazing. Oh no, not the whole 80%. I mean like 80% of this month. This month.
repayments, the
Yeah,
repayments,
sorry.
80% of your repayment.
If it
Boris
was,
debt
I'll
free.
be very happy. I wouldn't even
Little
I'll be on an
disclaimer.
island somewhere.
80% of Bori's rev share payment for the 21st
Yeah,
of this month tomorrow is going to cover 80% of his mortgage repayments
This
for
month.
June.
yeah.
It's not paying out 80% of the mortgage.
No,
But I
above
mean,
that though.
and you don't have to be a mathematician to work that out. Mortgage repayments are into the thousands,
Yeah,
right? So you just work it out what he's earning per month from that revenue share
I
program.
think
So
that's a
You
good
use
point,
the
though,
whole
as
thing.
well. Having multiple income streams is so important these days.
yeah,
People talk about side hustle and stuff like that. And with our company, we do have those multiple income streams. You need to have in this
yeah.
current world. especially in South Australia now becoming the second most expensive property in the country. You need to have something to prop up your mortgage, and then your childcare, your schooling, your petrol, the whole lot. So,
Mm.
having revenue share, having those different aspects of what EXP can give us, and I've enjoyed it as well. You don't need to, like Chris was saying, you don't need to list and sell as such. It can be literally, could you imagine that saying, oh, all my listings and my sales, there's just a cream on top.
Yeah, one of
Yeah,
the things that I
absolutely.
do, and EXP provides this, is that for every sale I do with a property, 5% of the commission that I get, I
Yeah.
put that into buying EXP shares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single sale. So because I realized, well, running my own business, I'm not doing my own superannuation here. I'm doing it a little bit different. So I decided to go through that. So every month
Yeah.
I'm investing in the company that I'm working with, and it just makes me want to be more
Brilliant.
part of the company and
Well,
make me.
it's essentially super anyway, because that's what your super company does.
Yeah, it's
You put
selling,
it into a super
sacrificing.
trust though. If you put it
Yeah,
into a super trust though, you can see it lose, 20
I
and
will
30 grand
say, I
over the
will
last
say
year,
this.
whereas right now you're investing in something that you know, which is yourself.
I'm
Yeah.
going to give another plug to EXP because my EXP shares has grown more than my super.
yeah, same.
Yes.
Same.
Do you believe that?
I actually watch my Okta Morgan Stanley ShareWorks app and my EXP 3.0 rev share. I watch it like 2, 3 times a week. I can't even
Yeah.
remember the last time I've logged into my super account because every time I log in there, it's like smashed fees.
Yeah.
The share
Absolutely.
market's not going strong, and I'm like, it's depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas when you log into those apps off the back of our transactions, that's inspiring. That helps you get up tomorrow and go, I'm going to
Yeah.
sell that home because I'm going to get stock off the back of it. And I'm going to help Buri because I'll get revenue share for helping him and the
Yeah.
company pays me to help him. That's
Mm.
how
And
insane it is. Anyway,
No, basically, if you work for a company like EXP, you don't even need side hustles because there's side hustles within the company
it's
already.
built in the model.
You don't need
oh,
to
Mm.
go
guys,
start drop shipping or anything like that. It's already there. You're just doing your job anyway. You're just doing what
Yeah.
you do,
Yeah.
but you do
like,
get the additional side incomes as well. So all these pillars that you have to set you
Tom,
up.
Awesome. Sorry, Tony, were you going to say something, mate, before we wrap
oh no,
up?
I was going to say that's the beautiful thing about running your own business as well, because you can have those side hustles and you can do those things within your business. Like for example, you guys know I just spent a bunch of money on cameras, so now I can really start to really up my game when it comes to my social media, when it comes to doing my property videos. I can have professional videos, and then I can do it in a different way and in my way.
Yeah.
So and with the goal for bringing my kids into the business. So that's the beautiful thing about EXP. You run your business the way you want to. EXP just gives you the platform to do it.
All right.
Awesome session today, guys. Thanks for your time, Bori. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us live today. Bori will drop the slide deck in the group chat. As always, never
Already
struggle
there.
in
It's in
silence.
the
If you need help with anything, we're always just a call, a DM, a message, whatever you need away. Have a super successful weekend, and we look forward to catching you on the flip side next week on the Agents Weekly Blueprint by the Alpha State of Mind. See you later, folks.
Peace.
Hey guys, peace.